Okay, here we are, match 2 of week 3. This time we have Punk Rotten versus Princess Peaches. That's going to be Nurgle versus Amazons. A team that is pretty good at locking down more mobile, agile teams versus a team that starts with every player having dodge. So, this should be an interesting match to watch. I haven't seen it yet. Let's see. I'm noticing there were only 10 armor breaks for the Nurgle team, so not a whole lot of hits made, actually, which is pretty interesting. Only 5 made by Princess Peaches. And let's see, it looks like it was 1 touchdown win for Nurgle, but that's a slight victory, so look at the skill points there. Oh, looks like there's probably a few injuries. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. Alright, here we are in the beginning of the match. Go over the formations real quick. Amazons are on defense, and they have opted to have a pretty strong center here. A little bit of a weak flank. I suppose just trying to contend against the strength of the Nurgle team, which, isn't a terrible idea. Has 2 players kind of far back here. Maybe this line woman can be there, but I would say that the catcher, there's no reason for the catcher to be this far back on the field when you're playing defense, really. Opening kick was okay. It's pretty near to the ball carrier, but it's behind him and kind of towards the end zone, so nothing too bad. Nurgle being a bashy team, once again, just kind of setting up right on the line and getting ready to punch. I would say one thing that the Amazons probably should have done is on the wide zones here is kept the player just off the line, because with having them on the line like this, you're just giving the Nurgle player free hits on the first turn, but we'll see how that goes. A key part of the Nurgle strategy is going to be knocking people into the tackle zones of the Beast of Nurgle here, because once they're in the tackle zones of the Beast of Nurgle, it's going to be very difficult for them to get out. So I expect to see a lot of that happening in this match, just like it happened in my match against this team last week. So, starting off, moving the Beast of Nurgle first, getting a nice little push there. Marking 2 players now with the tentacles. They're not going anywhere, I'm sure. Unfortunate double skulls on the first turn, but uses a reroll. Gets a hit on the blitzer. Ooh, an immediate injury on one of those blitzers. That sucks. That's unfortunate. Those blitzers are the strongest players on the Amazon team to begin with. They're the only 4 players that start with block and dodge, the strongest skill combination in the entire game, really. And one of the main benefits of playing an Amazon team is since all of your players start with dodge, it's very easy to get that combination just by leveling them up once. So losing one of those players this early in the match is kind of unfortunate. Looks like the Nurgle player has since purchased another Pestigore to use as, I imagine, a more offensive blitzing unit, whereas this other Pestigore is probably going to take up more of a ball carrier role in the long run. Sorry. Already opening up a gap on the left side of the field. That blitzer is probably going to go off the edge. But I imagine we're going to see this Pestigore run down there and go for the end zone. The Amazon's using the catcher to reinforce the right side of the field. I don't know about that one. Fortunately, fails a dodge roll. Probably should have moved this line woman to go cover that gap at least. But now the Nurgle team is going to exploit that. That's another blitzer off the field. Ugh, and another injury. Ooh, not looking good for the Amazons already. This is a rough start. So I will say that a thing to keep in mind with Amazon teams is, yes, they all start with the dodge skill, but you kind of want to treat that as more of a defensive thing, right? It just means that you're going to get hit in a block less often than you normally would. Does that allow you to make more like dodges out of tackle zones? Technically, yes, but it doesn't increase the odds that much, so I don't know, especially when you have 3 agility, you don't want to dodge too much as if you're like an elf team or something. Don't rely on it too much is what I'm trying to say. Beast of Nurgle is already holding down 3 players now. We got 2 players off the field for the Amazon team and 3 that are really tied up. Make that 4 that are really tied up. Oof. It's going to be very difficult for the Amazon player to maneuver now and actually get players where they need to go. And you can see that the Nurgle player has effectively cut off all of these players and the players on the right side of the field from even going after the ball carriers. So this is a very strong opening half for the Nurgle team. Only 2 turns in, and it's pretty solid. Fortunately, foul appearance popped off on this Nurgle warrior back here when an attack was made, so I imagine we're going to see that blitzer go off the side of the field as well. And then we had an unfortunate turnover that resulted in a knockout for another player in the middle, so just losing more and more players. See, the Nurgle coach is just knocking the players away from where you know, they want the ball to go, and trying to force everyone that they can into the tackle zones of this beast of Nurgle just to get them tied up with tentacles. Tentacles are very difficult to get out of, especially when you're playing an agi team that doesn't really have much strength. Unfortunate attacker down. This does free up a couple Amazon players to go move where they need to go. However, are they going to be able to reach the ball carrier in time? Probably not. You would have to have, I would imagine, this line woman here move over in front of the ball carrier in order to get something done right now. But we are going to see these Amazon players start moving that direction. Got a blitz coming on that Rodder. Okay. Gets a hit. Oh, no, on the Pestigore. My bad. Ooh, I don't know about following that one because now you've kind of just sacrificed one person for another one. The push was good, but I would not have followed. Manages to free up some of the players. Unfortunately, makes a going for it roll. Probably should have just stuck right next to the goat on this side. Two players is all you needed to force a dodge there. Unfortunate. That's going to result in a touchdown for the Nurgle team on turn 4. I think that was. Fairly quick touchdown. And no wake-ups for the Amazon team either, so still down 3 players. But now the Amazon team is going to be playing offense and receiving the ball, so we'll see if that changes things. 5 turns left for the Amazons to score a touchdown. You can see the Nurgle player going for this screening strategy using these columns of 2. Which means it's going to be very difficult for the Amazons to actually dodge through this. Seems to be responding with similar strategy. High kick. No, but it was a short kick, I guess. Wow, right in the middle, right there. Got a catch. Interesting. So, real quick, let's kind of talk about, like, if you're the Amazon player here, you know, how do you play against this kind of formation? Well, really you have to get ahead of it, right? So the benefit of using a formation like this when you're playing a higher agility team is that you can usually dodge out of the tackle zones and just take a step back every turn. The Nurgle team does not have that benefit because their agi's not high enough to do it. They don't have dodge. They're just not really able to do it. So in the long run, the Nurgle team is probably not going to be able to hold up with a formation like this, and they're going to want to go for punches in the long run anyway. But if you see that this is an offensive formation coming for you right off the bat, I would go ahead, if you're playing, you know, you're going to be receiving the ball, set your players up in a way that you can easily knock one of these columns out, probably one on the edge. You're going to have to do a bit of a lopsided offensive formation. You're not going to have it symmetrical like it is here. You know, put a blitzer up right against this Nurgle warrior so that she's ready to get a hit, and then set up that hit, push him to the side, knock him down, whatever, and then use another player to then blitz this rotter, push them, that creates your gap, and then you can move somebody through. And then that way you're kind of ahead of the strategy that's going on here, and it's going to be pretty difficult for the Nurgle team to repeat something like this in front of where you're going. Unfortunately, that was a pretty good kick by the Nurgle team, putting the ball carrier right on the Beast of Nurgle there. Couldn't really hope for better than that. And it's likely going to be very easy for the Nurgle coach to knock down the ball carrier here and then swipe the ball. And then, of course, because the Amazons want to get the ball carrier out of there, you're going to assist with the Beast of Nurgle, but that also means that we now have 3 players already occupied by tentacles. And right there, goes for the dodge, unfortunately fails. Fortunately gets the root. Unfortunately gets the really stupid proc on the Beast of Nurgle. Ooh, and a both down knockout on the ball runner for the Nurgle team. Now, luckily, because the Beast of Nurgle had the really stupid proc, the tentacles are now gone, so if the Amazon player could pick up the ball here... that's just unfortunate. If the Amazon player was able to pick up the ball, they could easily move the ball carrier away from the Beast of Nurgle to somewhere more productive, but... the dice did not agree. Oh, but here we go, another opportunity. Another really stupid proc. You have to take advantages of these wherever you can when you see them happen again, on a team like Nurgle. Because now that the tentacles are gone, those tackle zones are gone, you have a whole turn where you can exploit that vulnerability. Not to say that you're always able to. Sometimes the situation just means you can't, but if you are able to. It also means that this Beast of Nurgle is not currently assisting with any blocks, so this rotter is vulnerable right now. Okay, the Amazon player managed to pick up the ball, but opted to just stay right there. I probably would have started moving with it, especially since there's only a couple turns left. Probably could start off by knocking this rotter and Pestigore down, actually, instead of waiting to do it after picking the ball, and then could have grabbed the ball and started moving down the field. Looks like the Amazon coach is making a cage here around the ball carrier. I mean, that's an okay strategy, but I think it's probably a little bit too late in the half to start with a cage. But it does look like they're setting up for a pass on the next turn. However, you have to keep in mind with all these disturbing presences here on these Nurgle warriors, each of these big squares rotating around their Nurgle warriors and the Beast of Nurgle, that's putting a -1 modifier to every pass and catch made by any opposing player in those squares, meaning that it's going to be really difficult for the Amazon coach to make a pass here, especially since that's a stacking debuff. So, looks like currently the ball carrier is in 3 of those zones, I believe. So that's going to be a -3 penalty. Ooh, okay, but the rotter is out of the way. This is unfortunate, though. Right here, probably should have stayed and not followed through on that hit. Because that would have opened up the gap for the ball carrier to move down, but now the ball carrier can't move that way. Manages to make a dodge there, but now the ball carrier has to make a dodge. Yeah, I would say that following through on that attack was unfortunately kind of a bad move. But luckily she manages to make it. Goes for the pass. Nah, I would have just done the handoff if you could have. That disturbing presence debuff is going to ruin any pass you try to make. Now the Amazons only have 1 turn left to score a touchdown. If the ball stays where it is, then it is possible. But if not, it's going to be really difficult. Pestigore goes for the blitz, picks up the ball. Yeah, this is probably just too well defended to get a touchdown at this point. And because the Beast and Nurgle is back up with those tackle zones, it's going to be hard to do any kind of reinforcement. So I don't think there's going to be any real opportunity for a touchdown here. There is some kind of potential to blitz the ball carrier and then hopefully the ball falls where you need it to go, and it looks like that's what the Amazon coach is trying to do here. Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, that was the right move though. But unfortunately, without any rerolls, that just wasn't going to happen. But it's good that the Amazon coach at least spotted the opportunity. Anyway, that is halftime. Looks like we have one Pestigore wake up for the Nurgle team. And we got a blitzer back up for the Amazon team. I think that was a blitzer. Nah, that might have been a lineman. Doesn't matter. Got a quick snap for the Amazons. This is a pretty good event for them to have. It lets them get out of the tackle zones right off the bat. Although, you know, maybe you want them to stay into the tackle zones on this move because, like I was saying in the last half, against a defensive formation like this, that's almost what you want, you know? So that you can immediately start knocking people out of the way. Now it's going to be very unlikely that you're going to be able to create a gap, and you're just going to have to wait for the Nurgle team to actually make a gap for you by misplaying. But it's a hard formation to play against, so I understand. That's why it's so good. I would say this is maybe overcommitting to a cage here. I would probably still want to keep players spread out because now it's going to be really easy for the Nurgle team to kind of wrap around this position, especially on the left side. And when you give the enemy team more opportunity to wrap around, it makes it a lot easier for them to mark your players, and it makes it a lot harder for you to mark their players. Which means that the Nurgle player is probably going to get a lot of free hits here. Doesn't follow through on that blitz. Interesting. You'd think that they probably want to keep the ball carrier marked. Does manage to get the Beast and Nurgle in there on 3 players already. Make that 2 players. Say the Nurgle team probably could have afforded to surround the Amazons a little bit more, even though it would have spread your troops out more. Because it's easier for you to mark the opposing player than it is for them to mark you. It's safer. In this situation, you're kind of only half committing your players to combat at this point, so you might as well commit all of them. And now you left them a gap to run around the side, right? Granted, these Rotters and this warrior can pull off and deal with that, but I think it's better to just kind of tighten the noose around the opponent early. If you go back and you look at week 1 and my match as High Elves against the Amazon team, you'll see in the first half what I'm talking about, where I kind of just immediately wrapped around and started knocking people down because I just had them fully enveloped. Goes for a blitz on the ball carrier. Manages to get the hit. Ooh, and another injury for the Amazons. Ooh, that's going to be the kicker. Hold on, hold on. I think that was a movement penalty. Right there. Oh, it's not going to let me. Yep. Yeah. Movement injury for a lineman, so. And it's the kicker, so it doesn't matter too much, but. Still unfortunate. 3 injuries already. Can't quite seem to hit the ball carrier, though. But with the Amazon team so split up here. Oh, manages to dodge out. Okay, okay. The catcher does have an opportunity to go for the end zone here. I'm liking this. Manages to get out of the tentacles. I probably would have marked one of the pesticores there with that player. Because when you put your thrower on the corner like this, you still have quite a lot of space where the ball carrier is vulnerable to a blitz. So it probably would have been best to mark the Pesticore and stop that guy from blitzing. But we are seeing the ball move up the field. I like it. Alright, here's that blitz I was talking about. Goes for the hit. And gets the knockdown. Burn through all of their rerolls though. 3 turns into the half and all the rerolls are gone. Amazon still have 2 more. Unfortunately, dodging away from that beast in Nurgle is just really difficult. And the thing about having dodge on every single player is that you're never going to be able to use a team reroll on any of your dodges because you can't use a team reroll on something that was already rerolled. That's the benefit of having that skill, is that you just get that free reroll for that action. But what you get is what you get. You can see dodge coming in handy a lot this match, though. A lot of hits that the Nurgle Warriors are making against the Amazon players are not actually going through and resulting in knockdowns, because the Nurgle coach keeps rolling the blue stars defender stumbles. The Nurgle team is pretty split up here. The heavy hitters on their team are not where the ball is, and the Amazon players are starting to surround it, so I could see this going in the Amazon's favor. Ooh, that's unfortunate though. Couldn't quite pick up the ball and it goes to a Rodder instead. That Rodder's probably gonna get away. Now the Beast and Nurgle is coming over here to reinforce, tie up some of those blitzers. Yeah, hit here made on the thrower. Gonna freeze up the Rodder to move back up the field. Ooh, going for a pass. Yeah, that didn't work out. But it definitely got the ball away from their side of the field, so I imagine just trying to make space. Amazons have possession of the ball once again. We are in a position here where I could see in the next couple turns an interesting play coming off for the Amazons, but we'll have to see how Nurgle responds to all this. Oh, definitely. Fortunately, fails the tentacle roll. Doesn't result in a turnover, but it does mean your player doesn't do anything, which is not very helpful. And surrounded by so many Nurgle warriors, it's going to be pretty easy for them to get up on the ball. A fourth injury, sorry. And the ball carrier is down again. That is a turnover, but with the ball in the middle of so many Nurgle players like that, it's probably okay for the Nurgle coach. Another failed dodge by the Amazons. That was going to be a really difficult dodge given that it was going from 1 tackle zone to 2 tackle zones. That would have made it a 33% chance. Probably should have tried to clear some players off the ball first. You can see how the Nurgle coach here tries in all of his matches to only move the Beast of Nurgle when there is a player next to it, trying to really mitigate that that really stupid modifier, which is good. You want to try and do that whenever you can. Lots of failed pickups on the ball there. You know, I kind of see a possibility for an Amazon play here. Let's see what happens. Alright, gets a hit on a Rotter. Knocks it away from the ball. Okay. Ah. Okay, here's a mistake. So that's what I was thinking, but you want to remember something important here when you're making dodge rolls like this. Dodging into a tackle zone is always a lower chance than dodging out of a tackle zone. So if you're going to try and move from 1 tackle zone to 1 adjacent like that, what you should do instead is go out and then go back in. And then probably go out again. Because I imagine the Amazon player was probably trying to get the ball, get out here, and make a pass or something like that. And that would have given you a higher chance for actually picking up the ball there and not getting knocked down from that dodge. Unfortunately, once again, Nurgle has control of the ball. And actually, on a Nurgle warrior, if the Nurgle coach felt like it could start moving this player up the field and possibly on the next turn get a touchdown with the Nurgle warrior, it means some going for it rolls are going to need to be made, but getting a touchdown with the Nurgle warrior is pretty nice. It doesn't mean you're getting 3 skill points on them, and those guys can be hard to level. To that first level can be really difficult. And it looks like the Nurgle coach is going to be doing just that. Oh, but the Amazon player is responding. Are we going to see a blitz? No? Okay. Marking the other player. Not a whole lot that can be done at this point, though. Lots of dodges being made. Not that one, though. But the Amazon coach definitely sees what's going on. Will the Nurgle coach manage to get this? It's going to be a 50% dodge, I think. Yeah. With no reroll. No other way to do it. I don't even know if I would have bothered with that roll. It doesn't change anything. Yeah, unfortunate. Not today. Well, that's the end of the match. Not too bad. Not too bad. Look at the skill points again. Multiple injuries on the Amazon team, which is unfortunate, but lots of skill points gained for the Nurgle team here. If you look at the MVPs, one of them was a Nurgle warrior, always nice. The other one was unfortunately not just a line woman, but a journeyman line woman. So this was a free player that was given to the Amazon team because the coach did not have 11 players to put on the field, which means that while now at the end of the match, you are given the opportunity as the coach to then purchase this player at their normal price, assuming you have enough money. But if you don't, those skill points are just gone forever. So I'm not sure what choice the Amazon coach ended up making here, but there's a possibility that they just got no skill points from that match, which is really unfortunate. So anyway, pretty good match. I will catch you next time for the next one.